Welcome back to part 2 of our Anthropic Claude Certified Architect Foundations Practice Questions. This time, we're continuing with questions 21 through 40, focusing on agentic architecture, MCP, Claude Code, prompt engineering, and reliability. These are actual Claude Certified Architect Foundations practice questions, so test your architectural judgment and keep track of your score. For more practice questions and complete preparation, visit Study for Exam using the link in the description. Let's jump into question 21. Question 21. A research agent must investigate a complex topic by delegating different parts of the research to specialized agents. Which architecture is most appropriate? A. A multi-agent architecture with an orchestrating agent. B. A single static prompt with no tool access. C. A database-only architecture. D. A fixed response template. Correct answer, A. A multi-agent architecture with an orchestrating agent. Explanation. An orchestrating agent can divide a complex task into smaller pieces and delegate those tasks to specialized subagents. This can improve separation of responsibilities and make complex workflows easier to manage. Question 22. A multi-agent system produces incomplete results because the coordinator fails to assign one important research task. What should the architect investigate first? A. The coordinator's task decomposition. B. The subagent's writing style. C. The user's browser. D. The model's temperature only. Correct answer. A. The coordinator's task decomposition. Explanation. If an important task is never delegated, the problem is upstream in the orchestration logic. Improving the subagent will not solve a task that the coordinator never assigned. Question 23. A production workflow requires a specific validation step before an agent can complete a financial transaction. Which approach provides the strongest enforcement? A. Programmatically enforce the validation step. B. Add a sentence asking the model to remember it. C. Tell the user to remind the agent. D. Increase the prompt length. Correct answer, A. Programmatically enforce the validation step. Explanation. Critical business rules should not rely solely on model instructions. Programmatic enforcement provides deterministic control over required workflow steps. Question 24. An agent repeatedly receives a tool error because required input fields are missing. What is the best architectural improvement? A. Design a clear tool schema that specifies required inputs. B. Hide the error from the agent. C. Give the agent additional unrelated tools. D. Remove validation from the tool. Correct answer, A. Design a clear tool schema that specifies required inputs. Explanation. Well-designed tool interfaces clearly communicate required parameters and expected input structures. This helps the model select and invoke tools correctly. Question 25. A tool can return either a successful result or a detailed error explaining why the operation failed. Why is this useful? A. The agent can use the error information to recover or adjust its next action. B. It prevents all future tool calls. C. It removes the need for validation. D. It guarantees that the model will always succeed. Correct answer. A. The agent can use the error information to recover or adjust its next action. Explanation. Structured and informative errors provide useful feedback to the agent. The agent can use that information to correct its request, select another approach, or escalate the problem. Question 26. An MCP server exposes a large number of poorly described tools with overlapping purposes. What is a likely problem? A. The model may have difficulty selecting the appropriate tool. B. The server will automatically become more secure. C. Tool calls will always become deterministic. D. Context usage will always decrease. Correct answer, A. The model may have difficulty selecting the appropriate tool. Explanation. Clear tool names, descriptions, boundaries, and schemas help Claude distinguish between available capabilities. Overlapping or ambiguous tools can make tool selection less reliable. Question 27. A company wants to expose customer information to Claude through MCP. What should the architect prioritize? A. Clearly defined resource boundaries and appropriate access controls. B. Unlimited access to every database. C. Anonymous database. Access. D. Removing authentications. Correct answer. A. Clearly defined resource boundaries and appropriate access controls. Explanation. MCP integrations should expose only the resources and capabilities required for the use case. Access controls and clear boundaries help reduce unnecessary data exposure. Question 28. A developer wants Claude Code to follow project-specific instructions consistently across a repository. What should they consider? A. Appropriate Claude.md instructions. B. A browser bookmark. C. A network firewall rule. D. A database index. Correct answer. A. Appropriate Claude.md instructions. Explanation. Claude.md can provide project-level guidance and conventions that help Claude Code understand repository-specific requirements and development practices. Question 29. A team wants different coding rules to apply only to files within a particular part of a repository. Which approach is most appropriate? A. Use path-specific instructions. B. Apply one unrelated global rule. C. Remove all project instructions. D. Put the rule in a database table. Correct answer. A. Use path-specific instructions. Explanation. Path-specific instructions allow teams to apply relevant guidance to particular areas of a codebase without unnecessarily affecting unrelated files. Question 30. A developer asks Claude Code to make a large architectural change involving many files. What approach can help reduce unintended changes? A. First plan and review the proposed changes before implementation. B. Ask Claude to modify every file immediately. C. Disable version control. D. Skip testing until production. Correct answer. A. First plan and review the proposed changes before implementation. Explanation. For complex changes, planning and reviewing the intended modifications before implementation helps identify incorrect assumptions and reduces unnecessary changes. Question 31. A prompt requires Claude to return exactly 3 fields in a machine-readable response. Which technique is most appropriate? A. Structured output with an explicit schema. B. A vague natural language request. C. Removing output requirements. D. Asking for unlimited prose. Correct answer. A. Structured output with an explicit schema. Explanation. Structured output allows developers to define the expected response shape. This makes the result easier for downstream systems to validate and process. Question 32. A developer wants Claude to consistently classify support tickets into predefined categories. What can improve consistency? A. Provide clear criteria and representative examples. B. Remove all classification rules. C. Ask Claude to guess randomly. D. Use unrelated examples. Correct answer. A. Provide clear criteria and representative examples. Explanation. Clear classification criteria and useful examples help establish the expected behavior and make ambiguous cases easier for the model to interpret. Question 33. A batch of documents must be processed using the same extraction task. Why might batch processing be useful? A. It can efficiently process many independent requests as a workload. B. It eliminates the need to define the task. C. It guarantees perfect extraction. D. It prevents all model errors. Correct answer. A. It can efficiently process many independent requests as a workload. Explanation. Batch processing can be useful when many independent inputs need similar processing. It can provide an efficient way to handle large volumes of asynchronous work. Question 34. An AI workflow generates an important output that must meet strict quality criteria. Which approach provides stronger reliability? A. Generate the output, validate it against explicit criteria, and retry or escalate when necessary. B. Accept the first response automatically. C. Remove validation to reduce latency. D. Ask the model to guarantee correctness. Correct answer. A. Generate the output, validate it against explicit criteria, and retry or escalate when necessary. Explanation. A validation and retry workflow provides a systematic way to detect unacceptable outputs and recover from failures rather than assuming the first model response is correct. Removing all task state. Question 35. A long-running agent loses important information because its context becomes too large. What should the architect consider? A. Context management and appropriate state preservation. B. Adding unrelated information to every prompt. C. Increasing the number of tools without limits. D. Removing all task state. Correct answer: A. Context management and appropriate state preservation. Explanation: long-running workflows require deliberate context management. Important state should be preserved while unnecessary information is reduced so the agent can continue effectively. Question 36. An agent encounters an ambiguous request that could lead to a high-impact action. What is the safest approach? A. Escalate for clarification or human review. B. Guess the user's intent. C. Execute the most powerful available action. D. Ignore the ambiguity. Correct answer: A. Escalate for clarification or human review. Explanation: when ambiguity could result in a significant or irreversible outcome, clarification or human review is safer than allowing the agent to make an unsupported assumption. Question 37. A production agent encounters a failure while calling an external service. What should the architecture provide? A. Appropriate error handling, recovery, and fallback behavior. B. Unlimited retries without conditions. C. Silent failure. D. Automatic deletion of the user's data. Correct answer: A. Appropriate error handling, recovery, and fallback behavior. Explanation: production systems should anticipate failures. Depending on the situation, the agent may retry with appropriate limits, use a fallback, or escalate the issue. Question 38. A team wants reviewers to verify AI-generated code against specific quality requirements. What should the prompt or workflow include? A. Explicit review criteria. B. Only a request to check the code. C. No requirements. D. Random examples. Correct answer: A. Explicit review criteria. Explanation: explicit review criteria make evaluation more consistent. They can specify requirements such as correctness, security, maintainability, testing, and adherence to project conventions. Question 39. An agent produces an answer based on information from several external sources. Why is provenance useful? A. It helps users and systems understand where important information originated. B. It guarantees every source is correct. C. It removes the need for source validation. D. It prevents the agent from using tools. Correct answer: A. It helps users and systems understand where important information originated. Explanation: provenance provides visibility into the origin of information used in an AI response. This can support verification, auditing, troubleshooting, and user trust. Question 40. A team is designing a production Claude application where incorrect automated actions could have significant consequences. Which principle should guide the architecture? A. Combine model intelligence with deterministic controls and appropriate human oversight. B. Give the model unrestricted authority. C. Rely entirely on the system prompt. D. Remove validation to improve speed. Correct answer: A. Combine model intelligence with deterministic controls and appropriate human oversight. Explanation: production AI systems should combine model capabilities with reliable engineering controls. Deterministic validation, permissions, monitoring, and human review can provide safeguards when errors could have significant consequences. That's the end of questions 21 through 40 in this Claude Certified Architect Foundations Practice Series. How many did you get right? Share your score in the comments. For more Claude Certified Architect Foundations practice questions, detailed explanations, and complete exam preparation, visit Study for Exam using the link in the video description. Thanks for watching Part 2. If this video helped with your Claude Certified Architect Foundations preparation, like, share, and subscribe for more certification practice questions. Keep practicing and good luck with your Anthropic Claude Certified Architect Foundations exam.